It's wonderful to see so many of you here, and I also want to thank Kurt Pringle for the introduction. As our chairman, I'd also like to mention that Matt Toledo is in the audience, one of our board members. Thanks for being here, Matt. Dale Bonner, the former secretary and a great supporter of our project. Thanks for being with us as well. And you've already heard some of the representatives from those fantastic senators we've got, Senators Feinstein and Boxer, who've been so supportive of our project, as well as people from Governor Brown's office. He too is a great supporter of our project. Assembly member Isidore Hall, thanks for being here. Thank you very much for the interest you show in our project. I'd like to say in particular thank you to all of you. This is a wonderful turnout. It makes this day very special for me. You know, I've been around in my job now for close to 10 months, and if we can see how the people come to these functions and how interested they are in our project, it is clear that you believe in the project and you see the future benefits for all of us. But I'd also like to mention to you, we did believe originally that we should have this seminar in Bakersfield or Fresno, because that's where we would be building the first part of the line. But to make it more convenient for you to be here, we decided to make it in LA, not in Anaheim. You heard that as well. There are some people that would have loved it to be in Anaheim. But we really would recommend to many of you, make that trip, go out to the Central Valley, go and see where this line is going to be started. It's important to go and meet with those people out there. So when you have the time, make sure that you go out and you see our Central Valley, where that backbone of our system will be built. I'd also like to thank, in particular today, Joe Linda Thompson, the Association for California High-Speed Trains, who arranged a reception last night, which is the industry organization, and there were a lot of people there, so thank you very much to the association for your support, and in general for your support of the project, but also for the function last night. I'm delighted that you're all here. I am sure you're all here to ensure that we as California High-Speed Rail are kept on track, or in fact kept on that fast track. So we are glad that you've been able to make it. In particular, there are many people here from abroad, many people that traveled a far distance to be with us. We appreciate you coming all the way to California to be with us. You will see quite a few hours of PowerPoint slides today, and I'm not going to go into the depth of the project because I'm going to leave that to some of my colleagues. I know that, as many of you know, I was in your shoes just 10 months ago. In fact, I would have been sitting in the audience as a supplier. I would have, I still feel to some extent for you and with you, and I know many of us are still old colleagues. And so maybe I should just let you into a little bit of my private secrets. You know, I've now been, as I mentioned to you, in the state for about 10 months. And many people ask me, how are you doing? And, you know, I keep saying I'm doing fine. And yes, it's a good challenge. It's a big challenge. On the other hand, they say, and, you know, how's this whole thing with the government? Well, there's this thing called bureaucracy. And I must say, it's definitely challenging. And not just challenging, sometimes a little bit frightening. But we're getting there. We're moving on fast. As you know, we've had a wonderful 2010, and we hope 2011 will continue in the same way. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Roelof van Ark. I'm the CEO of the California High-Speed Rail Authority, and I'm happy to be in this position. I want to give you a very high-level brief of the project. Again, not going into details. 800 miles, of which phase 1 of the project is about 500 miles. 220 miles per hour. That is real high-speed rail. And everybody knows that even in Washington, there is support, bipartisan support for rail, high-speed rail. High-speed rail that operates and will operate at 220 miles per hour, as this would be state-of-the-art, all best in class compared to everywhere else in the world. We have pushed that envelope so that we can end up with a system that will be really competitive and will be a competitive alternate mode of transportation, which is a type of transportation that will offer a positive business case and offer a real investor possibility to make money. We need to start the construction, as I mentioned, in the Central Valley, and we believe that it's important to start that section because we cannot operate on the existing freight railroads there. We need to build that backbone, the backbone of the system, and we need to move then in a southerly and a northerly direction to connect the metropolitan centers of our state. We need to fund this project with federal funds, with state funds, and with private funds. California has done its part. With $9.95 billion or close to $10 billion in general obligation bond measure funding, I think this is a great achievement. This is our country's first ever voter-approved multi-billion-dollar financing mechanism for high-speed rail. These funds will be used to leverage or to match other funds like federal funds, local investment funds, and private funds. This means that although we are talking today about investing the first $5.5 billion in the Central Valley, we in fact have secured around $14 billion for this particular project if you incorporate the bonds available in California. That means that is a great success and the good opportunity and chance to match further federal funds, which I am sure are going to be coming. The state's support is great. You heard the Lieutenant Governor, Gavin Newsom, talk about what he saw as the future of high-speed rail and the benefits for our state and for our nation. Governor Jerry Brown last week wrote to the Obama administration in support of our application for more funding. And I would like to quote from his letter. He said, California's application seeks funding for projects that will be building blocks for a statewide network of rail linking high-speed and intercity rail lines to regional rail lines. The project will provide the foundation for a transportation system that will improve mobility, help the environment, reduce energy dependency, and put Californians to work. California, the only state moving forward to fulfill President Obama's promise of trains traveling over 200 miles an hour to connect the major portions of our population. So again, great support, which today is very, very important for us. Great support from the governor, the lieutenant governor, and then we've already mentioned our senators, Boxer and Feinstein, who have always been real supporters of this project. Also, our congressional delegations are in support, and in general, the people of California are in support, even though at times, and it's not uncommon, you will hear negative comments, but many, many people in California are greatly supportive of this project. Because of this leadership here in California, we have received more federal funding for our project than any other state in the nation, and of course we need to continue that trend. I'd like to offer you a few more quotes. In fact, a quote from our President Obama, and I found this particularly appropriate, and I think many of you have heard it, and I quote, "This is not some fanciful pie-in-the-sky vision of the future. It is now. It is happening right now. It's been happening for decades. The problem is it's been happening elsewhere, not here. Building a new system of high-speed rail in America will be faster, cheaper, and easier than building more freeways or adding to an already overburdened aviation system. And everybody stands to benefit. And then you know of all the pressures on everybody in Washington in the last few days. We were hopeful that we would have representatives here from the DOT or FRA. And unfortunately, they, due to what was happening in Washington these days, were not able to come. But I did receive a wonderful letter here from the administrator of the FRA, from Joe Szabo. And I'd just like to read it to you. It says, on behalf of the U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood and the Federal Railroad Administration, we are pleased to see the great interest in California High-Speed Rail Authority's Industry Forum. California's high-speed rail project is laying critical groundwork to deliver an innovative national transportation network that will bring new jobs and economic opportunity. And when it's complete, when the people of California are able to travel the great state with speed, comfort and safety and convenience, we will have many of you in this room here today to thank for this. He continues and talks about our bonding and the commitment of the people of California, and finishes and says, I wish you the best today and look forward to hearing more about the work to create this world-class transportation system for California and the entire nation. Just to clarify some of the things that have been happening in Washington in the last few days. And you know that there have been some indications of budget reductions and cuts. None of the money that has been allocated to California High-Speed Rail has been taken away. We have our money, and in addition to that, there is still another $2 billion available for distribution today. So we are still hopeful today that we will get another portion of this $2 billion that is available. So I remain optimistic that the FRA, the DOT, the President, and the support that they are giving us will continue to fund this project and make our project a success.